We've seen Nazem with young guys, kind of mentoring them and whatnot. Zary last season, possibly. So, like, what you hope he brings if Samuel's game tonight?
It's not so much Nas in a night like tonight. It's nice to get a couple of guys from that line last year back together again, in Kuzi and Nas, but it's more about seeing if Honor can continue to go. So we love the speed that he's been playing with, and I think when you're looking for compliments to line mates, that speed with Naz and Kuzi is something that we'd like to see. That's where Marty excelled last year at the end of the year, so it's another bigger body that's playing a very strong North game, and we'll just see how things go.
And what does it say about Samuel's camp that at this stage you're putting him in a position to like that?
That he's had a good camp, so he's done everything we've asked of him, and we'd like to continue giving him opportunity. Yeah.
You've got a couple preseason games left. At what point do you sort of want to have an NHL lineup set and be playing them together?
I think we're getting closer to it. Like you see tonight's lineup, the last couple tonight and our prior home game, they've been heavy. If you want to call them Calgary Flames from last year, veteran players. I think you have to give them games as we get closer to the start of our season, because it's important for us to make sure we're ready to play. So early on in exhibition, it's always about, hey, can we get prospects some games and get them some experience? But now it's more about you have to do what's right for your older players to make sure they're ready for our opening night in Vancouver.
Are guys still auditioning tonight?
Oh yeah, they audition right through, and early in the season that continues. You look at Connor and Marty last year, we've talked a lot about it. They weren't up here to start the year, but shortly after we got going, they became real big parts of our team.
Coach, how do you balance what you see in practice versus what you see in games when doing these evaluations?
You want guys to work hard in practice, but your evaluation comes in games. I mean, at the end of the day, that's what it's about. It's against competition that is legit, because in practice, you're playing hard against a teammate, but you're not playing the same way. So you do the bulk of your evaluating in games.
What are you hoping to see out of Matt Coronado tonight?
A lot of what he's done in the first few games that he played. So the pace, he has a chance to play with two offensive guys tonight, so we want to see him in a position where we'd like to see him be successful. And again, for Matt, it's playing with the same confidence that he's played with the first few games, but also being in a position that he's a threat to shoot all the time.
I asked you about this a week and a half ago, so I apologize for repeating, but Tennille Maramanov came in last year. He'd been out for a while.
Yep.
How much, better does he look physically right now versus last season?
Significant, and I would assume if you talk to him, he'd probably say the same thing. Like you're coming back from a knee injury that he had, and then we threw him right into the fire, if you will, putting him against top lines, and he had a full summer of working and getting stronger and feeling good about where he's at. So I see a different guy on the ice. I see a little bit more pace to his play for sure, and that's a real positive thing for us, because he's looked good so far.
Brian, we talk all the time about the pace of preseason started to kind of ramp up, and this might sound like a silly question, but the detail of it means a lot more coming from you. Like, when the pace increases, what does that reveal about the guys who might be on kind of the roster bubble?
Yeah, one, how they handle the pressure. Can they make the right decisions? Can they make the right plays under more pressure than what they're normally faced with? And are they executing the way we're asking the team to play? That's really it. So now what I've really liked about the last few games, and Vancouver, Seattle, they play a similar style in regards to the pace they play at, how their defensemen play. There's some similarities there, and it's a really good test for us. So we get a chance to see if guys can execute against teams that really skate, and also to continue to see if they can continue to apply some of the things that we're asking our guys to do as well.
It seems like one of the guys on the blue line we haven't talked a lot about is Solovyov. As you sort of make the decisions there, what strengths does he have to, I guess, take advantage of to be in the mix?
For him, he is we look at him as a big kind of stay-at-home, hard to play against defenseman, and his last game in Abbotsford, I guess, started the game where he didn't really have a presence to him. Halfway through the game, he started to play much more physical and a harder brand. That's the style that we need to see out of him. It doesn't mean doing something that he's not capable of. He's a very strong guy, like the Russian bear, really. Like, he is a big man. And if we can get him to be consistent with being a guy that is hard to play against, then I think he's on the right track.
Are you able to say how you envision plotting out your goaltenders for the last 3 preseason games yet?
No, we'll see. Vladdy's going to go the distance tonight. That's all kind of we we go from there. But Vladdy will play the distance tonight.
Coach, what have you seen out of Jacob Pelletier's camp? Understandably, he's trying to bounce back from some bad luck last year.
Yeah, I think he's been a little bit in and out at times where we want to see that consistency from him. So what separates Jacob from everybody else is his ability to skate and pressure teams into mistakes. So when he's on the ice, that's what we want to see, whether it be a penalty kill roll or a 5-on-5 roll. That's how he's most effective. So that's what we're looking for out of him tonight. And again, he's playing on a real good line with two good players. So we want to see that from him tonight.
Do you guys, when you talk to the guys who may or may not be sort of sent down over the next couple of days, do you guys talk to them about Zary and Pospisil? And if they had a good camp and maybe didn't quite make it?
Yeah, I mean, that could be part of your message. I think a lot of that comes from Trent and his staff as well. But oftentimes the players, hey, they see all that. And last year was an example for a lot of guys with the Wranglers. They see guys getting called up. So if they understand that if you're playing well and there's a need that I'll get an opportunity, then guys will keep believing that they'll get that chance at some point. And the way things went last year, I think guys, they have a pretty good understanding of that.
Finally, we saw sort of on the Jumbotron, we saw the orange jerseys.
Yeah.
Why was it important for this group to sort of, not make a statement, but I guess celebrate naturally?
I don't know about celebrate,
That's
but
the wrong word.
honor survivors, victims, and it's something that's important for our organization for sure. And I think that's why you saw us put the orange jerseys on today and have the note on the Jumbotron, and it helps to educate people as well as to what went on with the residential schools.
Was this always the plan with Vladar, like build him up to kind
Yeah.
of go in the distance?
Yep, for sure. Jason had a real good plan as to how he would like to structure the goaltenders throughout camp. So this was his next step, that we give him the opportunity to play, have a day, and then get himself back for a full one.
And I guess for the blue line, Ball and Bean don't look like they're playing tonight, but is the hope to sort of see them in, I guess, Winnipeg?
Yeah, that would be the hope for sure. Yeah.